Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cyber Revolution podcast. I'm Adam Hewitt, the CEO of Cyber Revolution, and today I'm joined by an alumni student of ours, Akhil. Akhil, how you going?
Good, good. How are you, Adam? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I'm doing well. And so Akhil is on here to talk about how he has gone from working in a warehouse to becoming a cybersecurity professional, which is what we're going to have a lengthy chat about today. Before we get into all of that, though, if you are a new listener of the podcast for the first time and you're thinking whether this next 15 to 20 minutes is going to be worth your time or not, let me give you a bit of a brief overview of who we are and who this podcast is for. So, Cyber Revolution, we are Australia's only dedicated cybersecurity training and placement institute. So we basically specialize in helping people find their first job in cybersecurity, which we've done for Akil. Over the years, the reason that we've decided to create this podcast is we get a lot of unanswered questions. There is a lot of misconceptions about the cybersecurity space, what training you need to do, how can you enter the industry, what is an entry level job. And so we want to be able to answer all of those questions at scale. And so we've done this podcast now for close to 2 years. We've got around 65 episodes in so far as well. And so it's a pleasure to have you on, Akhil. Let's get
Pleasure is
stuck
mine.
into it, shall we?
Let's do this. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So I'm going to start from the very beginning, where I do with all of our student guests. Let's talk about your transition. So I understand that you had a little bit of an IT background years ago back in India, moved to Australia. Obviously, working in a warehouse. Talk to me, I guess, about that stage of your life. What was it that kind of made you want to, get into cybersecurity
Yeah.
and change careers from working in a warehouse into cyber?
So, yeah, like you said, I had a little bit of IT background, right? So I'm not very new to the industry, but I'm very new to cybersecurity, right? And the thing that attracted me most was like when you look at from look cybersecurity from outside, right? The hacking. Very, very keen on doing hacking. I'm
Mhm.
very interested in how coding, but you don't know the ins and outs, right? You think, yeah, that's a very good, very good. If you are keen, that's a very good way to approach a job that you like, right? So that's what attracted me to cybersecurity, I would say. And I've been very keen to get into the industry, specifically cybersecurity industry. And my journey was from in Australia specifically was from warehouse to cybersecurity, and the transition took a lot of learning and a lot of networking and lot of experience, hands-on experience through labs and whatnot. Right? That it was a little bit hard, but it's what I expected for this role. So you learn and you learn and you learn, and sometimes you think, oh, that's not you didn't learn anything. Then slowly you understand what cybersecurity is, what's the importance of this job, why really is it important, right? In the modern world, one of the key things that came to my mind was like the future is shaped based on the technologies, the advancement of the technologies, and the AI is rapidly evolving, and all the technology, internet, everything is evolving, and that actually invites a lot of crimes, lot of illegal activities in the cyberspace, and that war between the cyber crimes against cyber crimes is very crucial, right? Very crucial for us, very crucial for the growth of technology. And unfortunately, like this side of the fence, we have not that enough highly skilled people to fight against cybersecurity
Yeah.
crimes, and so it's a really important job as well, like not just a day job, but if we are really keen, if we are really interested in learning, if you really like the job, it's not just hacking or it's not just learning code, it's more than that. And my role itself is very different from what I envisioned when I learned about cybersecurity, right? So you have a lot of space for growth, lot of opportunity, and it's a very good job. Glad that I got into this, and glad that I got the opportunity through Cyber Revolution as well, right?
Amazing, mate. I'm so happy. And you're only 3 months into your new role, and there's a little bit to unpack there already. I think
Yeah.
we've covered. Before we move on to unpacking all that, I want to go back to I guess, the original core of what was it that I guess got you excited to get into cyber? So you're working in a warehouse, and you mentioned that you had there's the whole glorified idea of cybersecurity, that it's super sexy and exciting and hacking and all of this action. Was it that kind of attracted you to it, or was it more so you just really weren't satisfied in the role that you're currently doing? Like, what specifically was it about cyber that drew you in?
It's a mixture of everything, and one of the interesting things I saw one time on the job, I was walking across the warehouse, and there are a lot of computers that they use, right, to store the inventory or to make orders or to maintain what they have there. They have computers, right? So when people are using the system, their laptops or their machines, they just log in, they'll do their activity, and they just go to do the other activity, and the system is on. There is nobody at that space. So I was thinking I can just simply easily get into the system and get the information I want. Maybe next day, like a week later, I'm working in different warehouse. I know exactly what the other warehouse is doing, right? And it's uh, so it's the awareness, it's the need for awareness, right, that I realized very early. So, and I understood this because I had a little bit IT background, and I sort of hear all this AI evolving, all the I'm following this kind of technological advancements happening in the world. And so I really understood the importance. It's not just passwords, right? We say, like, now if you tell anybody, like, don't share your OTPs or don't share your passwords or anything, they know, yeah, I'm not going to share all those things. But that was like 10 years ago. People were falling to that. And now there are lots of ways a cybercrime can happen. And I realized that, like, even while I was in the warehouse. So it's a mixture of everything, I would say. And this kind of things, like seeing this kind of things, like, gave me the motivation. Okay, I want to contribute
Yep. Yep.
to that space too. I'm very keen, obviously, but I also want to contribute
Yeah. Okay,
to
cool.
that
So it's
industry.
more so
Yeah.
you were working in the warehouse space, and you saw cybersecurity as an industry of the future, more of a booming industry.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Right. And
Yeah.
so you're able to make that transition, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit, more in detail around the role that you've just landed, your first cybersecurity role.
So, so the role I landed was specifically on GRC. So the role is information security consultant, and I assist in audits, I assist in policies, and it's governance, risk, and compliance, like the name says, the GRC, that part. And in cybersecurity, there is the technical domain where we do the hacking and coding, pen testing. There are a lot of things, right? And this is sort of non-technical, but equally very important. And from my IT days, I did certain activities, certain job related tasks, which are related to this kind of GRC related work. That was, I didn't know at that time I was doing something related to cybersecurity. It was basically setting certain clean code policies. Like, I was a developer and I was setting certain clean code policies, those kind of things. I didn't know it was cybersecurity related. And suddenly, when I learned through different certifications, then it clicked, and I thought, okay, this is something I want to pursue. This is a very good opportunity pathway for my career, right? And I really liked it. And it's a lot of learning. You have to know a lot of frameworks, you have to know a lot of policies, you have to be updated with the top 10 vulnerabilities, as you say, right? Those kind of things, whatever happening. And a lot of learning. I'm still learning. Every day is learning. But very interesting.
Yeah. Cultural learning. This is just a start, right? Cybersecurity is not one of those industries where you do a course like ours and we get you job ready and you get into the
Exactly.
industry and then the learning stops. It just is continuous learning each and every day, because the cybersecurity field, especially now, as you said, through the advancements of AI and technology, and hackers are looking at different ways, to get into organizations' networks. We on the defensive side need to be able to upskill, and so that is, something that's always constant. Do you like that? Do you like that aspect of constantly learning new things?
Yeah, exactly. I like that was one of the motivation for me to get all those certifications and all those to learn, right? It's not that easy getting certification. You get the guidance as well, but you have to learn. You have to have that interest. And once you are in that phase, I would say just don't lose it, right? Just keep on upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself. Every bit of skill can help you, even if you don't need to do that in your job. It really helps you understand the job more. So, and like even in my specific role as well, like I know what pen testing is because I learned about that through the course that I did with Cyber Revolution, right? So I know exactly when a pen tester talks to me, this is so and so is happening. I understand totally like what they need in the basic level. Of course, I'm only 3 months into the role, so I'm not. I don't want to sound like an expert. I'm not an expert. Yeah,
Well, it's good that
but
and it's good that you know a little bit about the technical side. You don't have
yes.
to, like, if you're going down the consulting, governance, risk, and compliance side. It's a little bit more client-facing policy, as you mentioned before, as well, as opposed to technical. But it is important to know.
It is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'll
we're
yeah.
transition. I've had students on this podcast that started as a consultant and then transition into a technical role, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not set and forget. And so tell us a little bit more about that feeling when you first found out you'd made that transition. How did that feel?
Oh, it's like it's definitely like the butterflies in stomach kind of kind of this kind of feeling, right? So I was in warehouse, we discussed earlier, and when you get that IT role, even if I had a previous background in IT, it's the change. When the change happens, it's very like it's a mixture of all kind of emotions, and it was very joyful, I would say, and a little bit overwhelmed as well, because suddenly the first day, second day of the job, you are faced with a lot of things. And but it's good to if you have good sort of basic, it really helps you, right? All the basics. So definitely, again, I'm keep coming back to the certifications. Like it is important. Like you don't really need the certification. Maybe sometimes you don't really need the certification to get the job, but it helps you get that basic, which is the most important thing. Yeah.
You're obviously going to go into a new career or a new industry feeling nervous and overwhelmed. It helps if you have some skill.
Some skill.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't.
It helps you understand what someone else is talking about, right?
It's pretty hard to even get through to an interview stage, I think, this day and age without certifications and proving you've got some skill. So it's like it's important to have those.
Yeah.
And we've helped dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of people transition from the warehouse industry alone. And obviously, I've spoken to a lot of those students. A lot of them probably say the reason they want to make the transition out of the warehouse space is the fact that they probably don't feel as challenged in that space. They're not progressing and developing as well because it typically is doing a lot of the same things day in, day out. Whereas cyber is the complete opposite. You've experienced both. How does that feel going from kind of doing the same thing day in, day out to now being thrown in the deep end?
Yeah. Yeah, the challenge aspect is very real, right? So I don't want to sound like I don't want to say the warehouse work is easy, but you're exactly like you said, you're doing almost the same thing every day, right? You're repeating. You don't have to prepare for it. You can just go and do it, right? But but this job, this the key difference is it's not like that. You can go and do once you're very uh, like very experienced, you can just go and do the job. Even then also you have to upskill, you have to be very open to learning, right? At least even if you're reading some newsletters related to cybersecurity, if you keep you learn it. Yeah, or if you're doing networking, you learn something new. Or yeah, that even that sort of learning is also like helps you grow, but it is necessary, it is needed, that sort of learning. So that is really a challenge. But that sort of challenge is not there in, let's say, a warehouse job, or that sort of a physical, that is more physically demanding than the cybersecurity. But this is more challenging in in a way, like we have to be learning new things.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's different, right? In the warehouse or the labor game in the industry, you get paid for the time that you put in. You
right.
do overtime, you do extra hours. That's how you get paid more. In cybersecurity, you get paid for the challenging problems that you solve and the skill set that you have. So it's good to know if you constantly learn and progress, obviously then your salary increases, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like that, like we can summarize the job, right? You learn like 5 days and you apply that to like to solve a problem. You can solve it in like 1 hour. That's the job basically. You learn for most of the times. You do like some sort of activities that like setting for in my roles, like setting certain policies, updating certain things. You do that. Like you don't need to learn that much, but you just need to be updated. But the learnings, everything you apply in when the problem comes, you apply that. Or when you get a sniff that there is a possibility of a scenario happening, you try to apply all the things you learned. That's what cybersecurity is. It's all learning and applying everything together.
Yep. Yep. And I just want to jump in as well. You mentioned something earlier in the podcast around the fact that you definitely feel a little bit overwhelmed about the amount of attacks and hacks and challenges there are in the cybersecurity space and the lack of actual cybersecurity talent in Australia. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Nowadays, I think I feel like most of the times, like we are like, I want to say, like big attacks when it happens, right? We are always being more on the reactive side rather than proactive side. So that's mainly because of lack of enough skilled people, right? If we There will be one guy who will say you have to do this, but there will be like 50 people who will say, yeah, we'll take our time doing that, we'll do it, we'll take our time doing that, right? So you need that skilled people, like more of that skilled people to make sure like everything being proactive. It's very important. And once it happens, it happened. Like you can only try so much to cover up what happened. It's like there is a boat going and some hole happened, you're just putting duct tapes all over it until you reach the shore, right? It should be like the boat should be in a
Yeah.
good condition to cross that sea or river.
Yeah, exactly. So here first, guys. Akhil's in the industry. He's been in the space now for 3 months, and he actually is in the front line and sees the need for more people to get into this at an entry level. And I know we've painted a reasonably positive picture around the cyber industry, but we've talked a lot about how you're constantly learning, you're working hard, it's overwhelming. That's all stuff that is, it's all got to do with change. You've changed careers, you're in a new industry, and you're in that period now where you're learning lots. And it may seem like a lot of hard work. Talk to me a little bit around the support that you're getting from your new employer, and the training that you are receiving to make sure that you feel confident and competent going into work each day.
Yeah, so like till now, like you said, we discussed all the hard thing, right? We made the job sounded like some sort of very difficult thing to crack, but every organization like is aware of the importance of this information security, right? The cyber security space. And so they have, most of the organizations, they go above and beyond in supporting that information security infrastructure in their organization. So you get they'll give you what you want to learn, they'll give you the infrastructure you need, not just you, the entire team. And there'll be, you're new to the role, but the company is not new to the role. So there are a lot of people who've been there, done that. So you get all of this support system. It's like you only need to put the hard work, but you know exactly what to do. They'll guide you, you'll get the guidance, you get the, or if you want to learn something, you get the guidance, like the help with learning new codes or course, or upgrading yourself. They'll tell you exactly these are the skills you need, and everything will be there. You just need to do it. Yeah, just knowing, like if we approach, like I approached it like, oh, I won't be able to do this. Like you have that thought in your back of the mind, right? Even though you want to do it, that thought there, it is there in the back of your mind. I won't be able to do it, this is too much. But the support system, like you have your colleagues, some of the organization, they have like peer to peer, like some, whatever they call, the helper, the mentor, or your work colleague, work friend, they call it in different ways. And to sort of walk you, help you through, kind of babysit you through the first month, and then you're into the system. Like you are part of the system. Once you're part of the system, the information security system, everything will go like a clockwork. you
I
know
think
what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important to mention, right? Like, not only that you've got support systems, mentors in place at work, people that you can shadow, you you're not going to be thrown in the deep end your first day, your first week, or even your first month in these new roles. It takes a lot of it takes a lot for you to learn and find your feet before you are actually doing the technical work, or before you are helping with policy or client facing. There's a period there where you're learning and shadowing from the people and the team members in the organization, right? I think that's important. And as I mentioned before, we are making it sound difficult, right? But that's why you get paid good money. It's why people in cybersecurity get paid well into the six figures, is because you're solving complex problems. You're solving challenging issues. It's not like you're doing the same thing day in, day out, where it's anyone can do it, right? And so,
And oh, sorry, just to add to that, it's challenging as much as it is rewarding, right? So it's both. It's not just challenges. Yeah, it's rewarding as well. So you feel the satisfaction like yourself, not just the money wise, the what you paid through the sell, not just that, you feel the satisfaction of achieving that, right? Okay, you did that, you learned something, you were able to apply that, and you prevented something from happening. Yeah, that satisfaction is very real and very good.
yeah, job satisfaction, fulfillment. Like, are you now more fulfilled in the role that you're in now than you were in the role previously?
Exactly. Even I had a keen interest in this, so that also add to it, and very happy with this role.
Good to hear. I'm happy for you. Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Bit of a change of pace. Let's talk about your studies with Cyber Revolution. Um, Tell us a little bit around some of the highlights of your studies, what you enjoyed the most. You mentioned the importance of certifications a couple of times now. Was it, the theoretical component, our lectures? Was it our live labs? Was it our mentors or support system and support officers? What did you enjoy the most?
I'd definitely say the virtual labs and uh, sort of the guidance, right? The mentor system that was in place. Like the support system at Cyber Revolution was definitely helpful along with the virtual labs. I'd say number one is virtual labs, second is the support system, the guidance that you give, because sometimes you just stuck in certain things and you don't know how to proceed, right? You ask your assigned mentor and they'll definitely help you. Yeah, just do this. Or where are you, why are you stuck? They'll help you solve the problems. They'll definitely help in understanding. If you need more help, they're ready to provide. So you just need to ask. You ask and you shall receive, right? The help, the guidance is really important, and also the virtual lab. So I'd say whatever theory we are learning through the tutorials, through the video tutorials, then when you do the hands-on experience on the virtual labs, it really makes sense. You'll understand why you learned that much. So uh, that also helps in the jobs as well. That will be your base, that will be your the structure for you to build on for your job. Yeah.
So you found the hands-on practical learning that you learn at Cyber Revolution, you've actually implemented already within the 3 months in your new role?
Sort of, not exactly the same thing, because every role demands different things, right? But you see some of the tools that we used in the hands-on lab, it is not exactly the same tools that are there in workplace, but very similar.
Okay, the
So
product of
yeah,
it. Right.
yeah, some of there are different tools like Splunk. Let's say Splunk, one of the hands-on experience I had on Splunk through the Cyber Revolution. It was really helpful while I was doing some sort of analysis in my role, right? So it is different tools, but yeah, you get the gist of it through the hands-on,
Good.
the virtual labs,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
Good. And were you nervous at all? Like, it takes a bit of courage to have to, change careers. When you decided to go from working in the warehouse and go, right, I'm going to upskill, I'm going to get into cybersecurity. Was it nerves or was it excitement? Or probably a mixture of both.
It's a mixture of both, but I was nervous as well. Like I would say 60% nervous and 40% excitement.
Yeah.
Because it's the journey into the unknown, right? Yeah, it's all well good and say, yeah, I'm very interested. I like this. I love this. But it's definitely a journey to the unknown. But so you're definitely nervous. But once you are into that, like everybody can do it. Like what I learned is you don't have to be from the IT background, right? You don't have to be from warehouse. You be it that you have no knowledge about IT, no knowledge about cybersecurity, you can do it. You can start from the basic. You can build your career from there. And we really need more and more people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've seen it, right? As you said, you've seen it within the industry. We need more people that know the basics well,
Yes,
right? You
exactly. Yeah.
don't need to enter the industry as a cybersecurity expert or specialist. You'll become an expert or a specialist over years and years and years and years. So what the industry needs now, right, is people that know a basic skill set to get into the entry level role. But probably more importantly, what answers the question of how we're going to win this battle and bridge the skill shortage. We need the right people. We need people that are um, constantly willing to learn the right skills. That's super important. So if you're listening and you're thinking, is cybersecurity going to be a potential good career change for me? Ask yourself the honest question: do you like professional development? Do you like learning new things? If the answer is no, that's absolutely fine, but it's probably not the industry for you, right? Because you'll get in it and hate it. But if you constantly like learning new skills, that's probably a good sign that it might be a good sign. It might be a good fit for you. And then really, what we're after is people that are looking to get into cybersecurity as a career, not just a job, right? Not just something that you're going to do for good money, because again, you won't last. We're really looking for people that are getting in this industry for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? Because it's going to be around a long time. We need people that are passionate about the space. And so last question, Akhil, and I appreciate your time. Um, for somebody that is listening, and I've outlined a couple of points there now as well, but for somebody that is listening to this podcast and they're thinking about getting into cybersecurity and they might be 60%, nervous, 40% excited like yourself, what would be some of your advice to them as to, some of the top tips that they can implement in order to get into cybersecurity or take the leap?
I would say I can say a couple of things, right? The number one I would say is networking. The number two is I want
What
to
do you mean
say
by, just like butt in there, what do you mean by networking? Do you mean the skill networking or actually social networking?
you don't have to like go out to a networking event and meet people, right? You can meet through LinkedIn, or you can even meet, like I've met so many people in the industry through Cyber Revolution, right? They're like different departments. You talk to different people.
Social
You
network, going
yeah,
to events. Yep.
y-
Yep.
yeah, and that really helps you understand what the demands of the industry is, what kind of upskill, what kind of skills you need, what kind of advancements happening in this industry. You'll get most of your whatever you need, you'll get through the networks. You'll get a job through the network. You'll know what to learn through the network. Everything you'll understand through your networks. And equally important is like hands-on experience, even just basic. Like you don't have to, like you do this through visual labs and then just keep on practicing, upgrading your skill, understand what you like, right? And focus on that skill. You may need to know everything to excel in the role. You don't have to be an expert in everything. You have to expert in what you like, right? So that's what, like the basics have to be very good. And it's very easy. It's not that difficult. You have to put the effort in, but it's easy. Only you have to put the effort in. You have to put the hours in. It's easy. Everything is easy. And cyber revolution is definitely one of the key ways to enter into the industry, I would say.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Akil. And I think it can be overcomplicated at times. People can think of, a bunch of different strategies to get into
Uh,
the industry, but I really like your simplified version of, do networking, surround yourself people with a network that actually know about the industry, have connections to industry, and then do the work, right? It is easy to get into the space. It is easy to complete your certifications, but only if you stay consistent and do the work that's outlined in front of you. If you don't do that, then it can get pretty hard pretty quick, right?
yeah. Everything is easy. It's very simple. The effort that you put in is only the hard part, but you're gonna put that effort in here or some other place. So if you like the industry, just jump in. It's very good. It's
Yeah.
very easy to get in. Yeah.
Appreciate it. And you've done it now, Akil, and I'm so excited for your new role. And I know how excited you are about your future in cybersecurity. And I look forward to potentially having you back on the show maybe in a year or two. We can talk about how much you've learned, because we've
Yeah,
talked about
definitely. Yeah.
learning a lot. And what I really enjoy doing is getting students back on the podcast and going, how much have you learned in the last year? And I think that's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, okay. Well, thanks for your time. Really, really appreciate it. I understand how busy you are, and look forward to having you on again.
Likewise, likewise. The pleasure is mine. I really enjoyed the time. Yeah.
Good, good, good. And everyone, if for those who are listening, and if you did get some value out of today's episode with Akhil, please like, comment, subscribe, leave a review for us on all of the platforms. We're getting some really amazing suggestions about topics and questions that you want me to ask our students or our guests on. So please keep them coming through. If you want to know a little bit more about our job placement program that Akhil went through, then all you need to do is head to cyberrevolution.com.au. You can leave your details there and someone from the team will be in touch. Thanks for joining us, everyone.